Alright, thanks for tuning in. We're just going to quickly go over the mobility testing day one. I'll start off with the overhead squat, and this is a great movement. It's also used in the FMS. It really just gives a true testament of how the body is working together. Nothing can kind of work independently of each other. Everything's working for the common goal here. So it really accentuates the limiting factor of the weak part of the chain here. So we want to start off, don't worry too much about having perfect form yet. We'll get there down the road, more in the earth program, developing those skills. But here we want to make sure that the bar is just sitting over top of our mass, center of mass. So right above the tongue of the shoe, back of the ear, should sit right there all the way down. And what we're doing is we're just self-assessing, going nice and slow, trying to keep that bar path straight. And we're looking for any weak point in the chain or any limitation in our joint or mobility. So as we're coming down, if I feel like my ankles get a little stuck and I can't drive those knees farther forward over the toes because of poor dorsiflexion, and I start to hinge forward and lose that bar over the midline, then that's no good and something we're gonna have to address in your programming. Okay, contrary, if my shoulders aren't very good and I can't even get that bar overhead to begin with, then we know that's gonna be a big problem in the overhead squat. So try your best, go for about 10 reps, keep in good form, drop it down as deep as you can, making sure those knees don't collapse in, anything like that. Maintaining good squat posture all the way through. Core should stay engaged, applying a little bit of a flex to the bar. And try to do this without any shoes as well. Just so, again, we get a really honest representation of what that body can do without any ergonomic aids at all. Okay, so the next movement is gonna be our inline lunge. We're gonna get right in nice and tight. Boom, knee almost right to the heel. We'll be on either side. And I want you to just go for 5 reps a side, straight up and down. Stay nice and balanced. Hey-oh. So if we lose balance, then that's a little bit of an instability issue. We want to make sure we're addressing that. Straight up, straight down. So you're almost right on a tightrope. And again, we're looking for mobility limitations really. So if I find, again, ankles, knees, hips, anything like that, if I have to round my spine or kind of adjust my posture, buckle the knees in, anything like that, that creates a little bit more of a choppy movement, that's something we're gonna have to look at and address. Should be this side. Okay, so heel almost right to the knee, and you definitely don't want to move that dowel. You shouldn't kick it along the way or anything. Looking for 5 a side only. Okay, next one is our hinge pattern. So again, these are big movements that you're going to see over and over and over again. Squat, lunge, and a hinge or a deadlift. So we just want to make sure that those movement patterns are getting developed as well. So hinge, again, don't worry too much about form. We kind of want to see what you got in the tank already. Feet right underneath the sit bones. We're going to pull that dowel into you, get it nice and tight into the lats, and we're going to try and move this bar along a pretty straight bar path, making sure that we don't compensate or feel like it's too light, so we reach out here and kind of defeat the purpose. Feel like it's a couple 100 pounds still. Going down the leg, just working with good form, pushing the ground away. Just seeing what those initial movement patterns look like. Okay, next thing, what we're gonna do is a shoulder test. So just basically testing your internal, external rotation. Okay, if we were to hold the dowel here, the main thing is we want to be able to get past 90 degrees on the external rotation. We want to make sure that we're able to have healthy shoulders. So all we're going to do is keep nice and honest. We're going to pull back in external rotation and see how far you can come into internal rotation. Be really mindful that that shoulder doesn't dump though, and we start to get a lot of help. Really feel like we're just isolating the rotation of the humerus in that shoulder socket, not getting any scapular help. Boom. So I got a little bit of opportunity to improve. Not too bad. Something else to be mindful of is I'm not jutting my ribs out along the way. So I'm keeping that core strong. Again, not getting cheats or compensations anywhere. Really mindful of how this feels left to right. Okay, boom. So I'm pretty well the same, almost just hit 90. So I gotta do a little bit more work on those rotators, clean them up a little bit, but I know that is my problem area as well. And as we score this, that would have been good at the start. We're basically looking similar to the FMS, a 0, 1, 2, or 3. Okay, 0 is basically you have pain in the joint, so if I'm coming back and I feel like, ooh, that's a little grabby, I'm feeling a strong pinch or impingement, You get a 0, that means it's just an immediate red flag and we want to address that right away. A 1 is like you've never really done the movement, you're not super comfortable or confident with it. 2 is like you can do the movement, but there's room to improve. 3, you're pretty well nailing it. Okay, so assess yourself. If you're with a partner, no problem. Assess each other and just give yourself a nice honest score. You don't want to set your bar too low or too high here off the get-go, as we should see some improvement throughout the training phase. So next couple, we're going to hit the floor here. Okay, you can keep your dowel just close by. First thing we're going to do is test that dorsiflexion. So the overhead squat and the other movements will kind of tell us, okay, is it the shoulders, is it the ankles? And then we can do a little bit more investigation to see where the big culprit is in our movement pattern. So to test out this ankle, we're going to test our dorsiflexion here. And all we're going to do is sit nice and tall. And basically what we want to be able to do is get the knee almost a full foot length past the toe. And that would indicate you got really good optimal dorsiflexion. Okay, heel should stay down on the ground. We don't want to force it or let the knee drive in. It should track very nicely over the toes. So I'm going to keep that foot down. I'm going to track, see how far I can get. Starting to feel a little tight in through the back of the foot and the ankle into the calf, Achilles, which is good. We don't want to feel that restriction on the closing angle side, right? It should restrict us as the muscles are hitting their full like elongation, right? Full lengthening. Boom. Hang out there. Maybe I can rock into it a little bit more. And if you're against a wall, this could be a little nicer. So you set up from a wall and rock into it, see how far you can get. Boom. Again, both sides. Give each side a score. Really honest representation here. Boom. So I'm getting a little heel lift. I'm going to draw that heel down. So it looks a little more locked up on this side. I might have a little more opportunity to improve. So therefore, if I'm seeing that, okay, a little imbalance left to right in the ankles, that might create a little bit more of a lateral shift in your squat. If I got the mobility to drive that right knee forward, but on my left, it's going to create a little shift in my pelvis, and then I might have that kind of wiggly butt as I'm coming up out of my base in the squat there. So again, we want to find the culprit and then see how it can be messing with some of your movements. All right, next drill is a seated trunk twist or rotation. So if you want to sit on a chair, that's okay too. If the knees are bugging or anything like that, no problem sitting at the edge of a chair. We're going to hold the dowel almost like we're doing a supported front squat here. Okay, all we're going to do is a nice twist and see how far you can go. So if I'm here, 90 degrees would be basically going all the way. So see how far you can get. We want to get past 45. Okay, go the same side for your 5 reps in a row. Being mindful. Okay, as we switch sides, reset a little bit, make sure your posture's good, not slouching. And also mindful of your breath. So if I hold my air in, it's gonna pack a lot more tight into the torso here and make it a little bit tougher to move. So maybe breathing out to get a little bit more range of motion and freedom in those joints. So that rotation is super important for all sports. Okay, if you're a little limited there, make sure we're working on that. Next thing, we're gonna flip over. 2 more, almost there. It's a knee extension, so we're gonna isolate this knee joint, see how we're doing that way. So if we assume that basically 180 degrees, no room to improve, okay, what we're gonna do is pull that hip into a little greater flexion, to put a little more tightness at the hamstring and the glute to start. Gonna pull that sucker right into the chest, stay nice and tall. I'm gonna see what that knee has on its own. Okay, boom, so I'm gonna extend, hang out, it should be pretty tight again. Maybe through the hamstring, calf, wherever you feel it the most, it's good information for you. Be mindful your body doesn't want to cheat away. And even pointing the toes might make it a little bit different. Try reaching the heel into this. So this one hits home for a lot of people to really tell you, if we got some opportunity, if you're here only, hitting 90 degrees, that's really going to impact a lot of your movements, your run, stride, even ability to be powerful, getting triple extension in jumps, anything like that. So we want to make sure that we're getting those knees fully extended. And a big culprit of that too could be sitting too much through the day. Make sure you're getting up and walking around, letting those knee joints know that they have to extend once in a while. Nice job. So again, scoring it on that 0, 1, 2, or 3. 0 if there's any pain. 1 if it's like, I can't really coordinate it or really feel out the knee. If I don't know how to control my knee joint, you'd be getting a 1. 2, you're getting up there, but there's lots of opportunity. 3, you basically got no opportunity to improve. Okay, last one, we're gonna test the rotation of your hips. So this one, we're sitting up nice and tall, or sorry, sitting back, core's engaged, legs up nice and tall, perpendicular from the floor, okay, perpendicular at the knee. And all we're gonna do here, similar to the trunk twist, is we wanna see kind of how much rotation you have externally and internally, okay? And I know it might seem weird that I'm saying externally here as the foot's coming in, but if you think relative to how the femur is moving, it's externally rotating in the hip, and therefore I'm going to have a little, better movement there. It's pretty good. Internal, a little more locked up. So a little more improvement, opportunity to improve on that internal rotation. Other side, core's engaged, staying strong, no compensation anywhere. External rotation, pretty good, both the same. Internal rotation, little bit of work to go.